what do you consider yourself? Freelance? I don't even know. Freelancer? Consultant?
Consultant contractor, yeah.
Consultant contractor, okay.
Consultant, yeah. A consultant.
Okay.
Web programmer for hire.
But you're so much more... I almost hate the term web programmer because that covers so many manners of sins. Like, you don't just sit with ones and zeros or coding language. You do consult on a marketing level, on a coaching level with the business. More than I think most people would that use that title with your knowledge of code.
The thing that has been so good for me as a web programmer is, one of the things that I realized early on, which is bridging the gap between business and technology. Like, there's business talking, there's like, oh, well, what's the standard for our bottom numbers, what's actually going to produce results in the marketplace, what people actually find sexy. And then there's coder world, where it's like, hey guys, check out this new cool visual effect, where you click there and it just like boom, springs out animation. And it's awesome, right? And moreover, in the technology world, aside from getting distracted by shiny cool effects, there's also well, we know how to build it, but we don't know what we actually want to build. Like, I'm not sure how this really maps onto your business problem. Being able to speak both languages, get sort of in the world of whoever's I'm talking to, who's got an idea or a need, I can kind of get myself at the source of the business vision, which means like I get to be the guy who essentially owns the idea, because I've grokked it so fully, I've gotten so much the essence of it, and say like, oh cool, well I've got a business that needs to do X, Y, and Z. Genuinely say that, versus, well, some guy gave me a piece of paper that says it needs to do X, Y, and Z. Very different mindset. When I'm at the source of it, I'm like, oh great, well what would I want to do that? Like, how would I want it to look? How would it be slick for me to have these objectives be met? Well, I'm gonna design it like this and make sure that didn't suck, and then I'd actually try and use it and put myself in the shoes of the people who are ultimately gonna use it, and file off the rough edges and fix the things that are grossly inefficient, which you can only get through the perspective of the actual user. And then the end result is so much better because it's so much more in touch with the real need. And what's great about that is, I don't know what's great about that, I was just gonna... Nothing came. No, what's great about that is, I know what it is. The person who's hiring me has way less work to do to try and create a scope, try and do requirements analysis, and a 50-page write-up of something which, if I can internalize it out of a 10-minute conversation, huge savings to them time-wise and headaches, and huge benefit to the ultimate, perspective of, or the ultimate, huge benefit to the ultimate result of things didn't get lost in translation.
Do you think that ability is unique among people that would share the title web developer?
I think it's rare.
Okay.
I think that's one of the things that's been my ace advantage. One of the things that's been so good is having communication chops to be able to represent well in the boardroom, to ham it up with my clients and sort of have them know that I get what they said. There's an exercise that you learn in various communication courses of what it is to recreate someone's communication. It's a fancy way of saying someone says something and they use the exact words, and you don't parrot them back to them. You paraphrase, you internalize, you put it in your own language, and you spit it back out of them. And if they say, yes, that's exactly what I'm talking about, thank you, you totally got it, then you know, and they know that you know what it is that needs to be done. And that bridging that communication gap and being able to do it quickly and effectively is such a blessing to anyone who's trying to hire a guy like me. I do not envy the position of anyone who's got to hire a web programmer in general, because you're hiring for something that's very technical, and to a large degree you have to take their word for it. And it's not clear whether or not they really get what your business is or necessarily give a shit. And if you can't walk away from a meeting with them or a conversation with them where they say, here's what I want to do, and if you can't walk away from that conversation with a clear sense that like the guy totally gets it, he's totally gonna nail it, then it's a crapshoot. And that's why you have $1 million projects that are done where the end result sucks and the actual users hate it. That sort of tragedy doesn't happen when, for all intents and purposes of the actual goals of the project, you and your programmer share a brain.